Professor M.K. Tiwari, Head of the Department of Industrial and Systems Engineering, IIT Kharagpur. Professor D. Mohanty, Dean Faculty, Dean Planning and Coordination, Professor of Industrial and Systems Engineering, as well as the coordinator of this program. Professor Gopi Chattopadhyay, the international faculty for this particular course. Professor A. Goswami, the coordinator of International Summer and Winter Term of IIT Kharagpur. My dear participants from the industries, from other educational institutes and research organizations, as well as from our own institute, IIT Kharagpur. Very good morning to all of you and welcome to the inaugural program of this particular course on engineering asset management. As you may be aware that for the first time such a type of the courses we are offering under the banner of the International Summer and Winter Term. And possibly in the IIT system, we are the only IIT which has introduced this particular term. And of course, this particular term is related to offering courses or in specialized areas. And one such specialized areas that we have selected, that is the engineering asset management. I presume that almost everyone knows that what is asset management. But in the context of business management, in the context of the business management, in the context of the industrial performance, or in the context of the inventory management at the industry level or at the organization level or even at the plant level, as far as our country is concerned, this concept in totality is absolutely is a new one. Whereas in many developed countries, what you find that the concept has gone to the standards level, say ISO 55000 standards and all those. So we thought it's better, the industrial organization should be explained from asset management perspectives. As you may be aware that whole industrial scenario, whereas here, there, everywhere, has become very complex. So in a dynamic situation, what is required is as many as perspectives you must bring in and try to explain the different kinds of events taking place within the industry. And particularly in today's context, for the graduate engineers having degree from IIT or many other engineering institutes, now this has become a necessary condition. So keeping in view all these aspects, we are trying to launch this program, and it's just a 2-week program. So obviously all the issues cannot be taken up in depth, but at least we try to offer you a course where almost all the issues in a framework or in a what you can say in an integrated framework we will try to follow. And I will not spend much time. This time is very short. We're already we started late, so I'm extremely sorry. And so now I request our head, Professor Tiwari, to say a few words on this occasion.
First of all, I say good morning to all of you. Here, before I say anything, let me welcome our Dean, who is also one of the coordinator of this program, Professor B. Motivational. And for running this course, the institute has devised a mechanism that under a coordinator, this program will be run. And this time, the coordinator of this program is Professor Goswami. He is from Department of Mathematics, a well-known academician dealing with all mathematical programming, computing techniques. And our own colleague, Professor P.K. Ray, who has taken a keen interest to running this course for asset management, and of course, international faculty for this program, Professor Gopi. And my departmental colleague, Professor J. Murthy, and Professor Jha, who is here, are present during the inauguration session. So we all welcome to faculty as well as the students who are here, participants coming from different places. Department of Industrial Engineering is well known for multidisciplinary ideas and their applications in many domains. The erstwhile popular topics and analysis pertaining to maintenance, examining the predictive analysis, with better terms of prognosis and diagnosis, and its relationship with life cycle of the product. This all has been combined to maintain the larger systems, and they have been given term like say asset management. So it has been removed. Its main focus is removed from earlier called maintenance to the broader concepts like say asset management. More on this will be covered by Professor P.K. Ray and Professor Gopi and Professor Dimanti in subsequent classes. My idea is not to lecture you, and as far as our department is concerned, we are running all the 4 modes of programs here. We have one BTech programs on industrial engineering. We run a QDM program, 12 degree nature. We also run one 12 degree program for industrial engineering and management. We also have a master program, and of course, doctoral program is one of the integrated part of our curriculum at IIT. So, hope that your presence here will realize many of our strengths which you may use for developing certain core areas that you want to grow further. Any interaction that you want to do with our faculty, our department, you are most welcome to come to the department. With this, I really thank Professor P.K. Ray for taking huge pain to organizing this course. Thank you, sir, for calling me.
My esteemed colleagues, our head of the department, Professor Tiwari, coordinator, Professor Ray, then our international faculty, Professor Gopi Chattopadhyay, who has come all the way from Australia, and obviously our coordinator, Professor Goswami, my other colleagues, Professor Maiti and Professor Jha, and all the participants. I welcome you again, being another coordinator of this program, and I hope these 2 weeks you will actually enjoy. So instead of trying to again give an introductory type of thing, I would like to make whatever 3-4 minutes time a little interactive. So I would like to know first of all, how many of you have actually known before coming here the meaning of this term asset management? Please raise your hand. Only 2 or 3 hands are there. In detail we shall see later. And how many of you have taken up subjects such as operations research, then engineering, costing, and those economy and costing and things of that sort? Management subjects, how many of you have attended? Okay, so as I can understand that principally you are all from engineering. How many of you are already an engineer? Okay, and is there anyone who is actually working in a company? Alright, so we have a few participants who has heard of this asset management, but a large contingent out here, probably it is for the first time that you are being introduced to management, you are being introduced to conceptual things which are other than hardcore engineering. So all of you or many of you are from engineering background, and you actually know things from that point of view. For example, you study something like fluid mechanics, or you study maybe some dynamics of things and those sort of things. See, what happens when you study a particular thing, let's say a particular behavior of a given machine, then your viewpoint is very narrow, in the sense that anything you do, you try to improve that equipment, you understand a given equipment, maybe your entire study may be on a particular thing itself. But when you come to management, when you come to our kind of domain, we try to get what is known as a broad overall view. Many of the topics which you find in this 2-week course, they are not new. They are here for a very long time. For example, maintenance, which I shall be mainly teaching you, is not new. Maintenance concepts are very old. Then reliability concepts, Professor Nayakan will teach you, they are also not new. Then other very important asset management concepts, the life cycle costing, the standards that is there, then other kind of things like those quality tools, that lean engineering tools. See, all of these individually, they can be again studied as separate subjects. But question is then, what is this asset management, and why are we talking about different things together in another context? What is it that we are trying to deliver in these 2 weeks? Look here, something that has happened in the recent past, the people have realized that if I look at only one angle, things are not happening. It's alright, we only look at only one side of the picture and try to do very good. Maybe one side is becoming better, the other sides are not becoming that good. Say for example, if you maintain yourself very well, right, you do all exercise and very good food and everything, but you don't do work, what will happen? You cannot even keep your health. Same thing about machines. The point is, suppose I think of a given machine as an asset, I should see it from all angles. Suppose I have a new car, vis-a-vis I have an old car. The maintenance that I do to a new car and the maintenance that I do to an old car cannot be same. Cannot be same. So what exactly we are being telling here, that all these aspects are very important. Look at the quality, look at the maintenance, look at the reliability from the point of view which gives us the best possible result. And the best possible results will only come when I get what is known as an integrated view. Professor Tiwari will tell you about an integrated view from a supply chain management point of view. So look here, again the supply chain management means not simply like trying to look at a company, but look at its suppliers, look at the customers all together and try to improve things. So naturally, when I look at all these, my assets that I have, the management of that should also be affected. So more and more you bring integrated concepts, more and more your understanding will be clear, and I would request you temporarily suspend your engineering thoughts that I should only understand this machine, this tool, this technique. No, try to take an overall total view, try to visualize the organization, and this is your opportunity. Later on you realize that this 2 weeks training that you have got will further your thoughts, and later on it will help you in many different ways. Right? So thank you again and welcome once again.
Normally what we say, engineers vision is necessarily to be a very narrow vision. If I become a mechanical engineer or electrical engineer, I try to look at the entire organization system from the mechanical engineering or from the electrical engineering point of view. So this is a serious limitation in engineering education anywhere in the world. But today's context, even if you are an engineer, you must be aware of the factors, the perspectives affecting the entire organization, not only the engineering system. So what we are planning to do, yes, very rightly pointed out, that entire framework we try to propose, and within the framework definitely there could be many components, the interrelationships, and this will be our focus. So thank you, Professor Mohanty, for highlighting all these issues. So we will elaborate for some time. Now I request Professor Gopi Chattopadhyay, the international faculty for this particular course, to say a few words on this.
People have made life less difficult for me, because if you type asset management in the internet, you will get thousands and thousands of hits. What that means out of that and what we are trying to do, this is very important. And I'm also glad that you people were bold to tell that we have not heard about asset management. Because the main purpose of this is to know something and to very clearly know what we do not know, because I know what I do not know, and I'm not afraid to tell that I do not know, because that is the first point, that I do not know, I know I do not know, and I can know it. So that is another thing what you people have contributed, telling that, listen, we don't know. And please don't hide. If anywhere you find there's something you do not know, you need some additional things, we'll be there to share those things. Now, if I talk about the asset, always in our mind have this physical asset. Now, from the financial side, they talk about the financial asset. From the IT people, they think the software, the information, that is the asset. And then from the organization perspective, the reputation, what is this IIT about? It's the reputation, the brand name. So that is the asset, very big asset. So if you look into those assets, we'll be focusing mainly on the natural, most likely the physical assets more, but what's about the Himalayan peak, the forest, the coastal area, huge amount of tourism. So don't limit your imagination to only what will be discussed here. This is only a small amount. You will adapt that, you will change those things. So it's just like the elephant, what Professor Mohanty has talked about. We are trying to see the elephant is the tail, is the leg, it's not. And that is why we needed something in the standard type of thing. So it did not originate out of nothing. The first thing was initially in Australia, New Zealand, the International Infrastructure Management Manual. So if you look into the journey, then that went to UK with the publicly available specification PAS 55. And then all over the world people started talking about we need a standard so that people will talk same item in same term and they will mean, and that can be around the globe. So you are learning something, if you are working USA or UK or Germany, you can tell this is what we know, we can do that one, it will be a global one. So ISO 55000 came as a standard this year. So you are learning something which is right now, rest of the world, they are also learning. So it's one way advantage. And this is very good that IIT has taken the lead. 2 years ago, let me share my journey. I visited a couple of times. 2 years ago, when current director was there, I was introduced. He told, listen, we should have something in the asset management. And if it's not recorded, sometimes you see the big people, they tell, oh yeah, that we'll do it. They forget, it doesn't happen. But I was really impressed that it has happened, and they have started the first one here in IIT. So that is a very positive of this program. Now, another asset management is the human asset, which will not be covered, but please remember the competencies, the skill, how you train those people. So that is another important thing. So asset is something defined in terms of international standard is a thing, anything, remember, item or entity. What is entity? Like the space, the ether, the mobile space and other things, or the corridor of the airspace, that can be also asset. So don't limit to physical assets only. Now, you remember the collapse of the bridge here before that Commonwealth Games. Very small item, but thing. Do you remember how much impact that had globally about the reputation? But again, people, they took that one, fixed that one quickly, and changed that mindset. So this is one thing. Another example I can tell you, I'll not tell the names of the hospital. In Australia, there was a Legionnaire disease from the water supply. Very high-tech hospital, people are affected, and then there was a big risk. So asset management is to understand the risk and how to manage that risk. So that is a very important part of this asset management. Another accident happens in UK when they did this deregulation. They tried to save money by reducing the replacement of the rails and increase the loadings. That led to rolling contact fatigue, which is the engineering thing. So you have a design capacity, you go beyond that, you create a problem. How do you manage that? So you take some of the cracks out by grinding, so you throw away some life to save the life. They didn't do that. One accident, the cost was $10 billion. Cost for the replacement, loss to the business, compensation, all you complete those total cost was $10 billion price tag. Anybody aware of the Mexican Gulf recently? What happened? That the oil spill, yeah, and that cost is close to $40 billion cost. It's a huge cost in terms of the survival of the organization. Now, if you go to many of the good restaurants, here you'll see that very good restaurants, beautiful asset. If you go to the toilet, sometimes you find that if you flash, it is not working. And there was a joke, I think that was a joke, that India achieved this success in the space program. When the announcement came, the microphone failed. So the main purpose of these jokes are that, listen, what is the importance of the asset management in terms of aligning with all these systems, assuring that one, what is the value of that asset currently and future value or potential value, and leadership and culture. So it's not just the engineering part, not just the economic part, all this will be tried to be discussed, and we'll try as much as possible, but it's a big elephant, and hopefully we'll cover as much as we can. So any question or comment related to, by this time you know, Professor Mandi did very good things asking those questions, and I thought that even in the beginning, it's our pleasure to help people learn the basic bullet point items, what is needed in this asset management. Any other questions or comments? No? Most likely I have not done anything, or I have done everything. Thank you.
highlighting some of the basics related to asset management. And what actually he has pointed out, that is, you must have a total view. And getting a total view is not that easy. Any time we are getting biased with a particular chart, with a particular concept, that is not allowed in today's context, because always we will be facing a complex problem. That is the demand of you, how to solve the complex problem. So we'll be dealing with, in this particular program, we'll find that, we have considered a number of, the tutorial sessions, plus the quiz, plus exam. And the basic, the learning process that we have thought of, that is learning by trial and error. Plus, with the total approach, the gestural theory, that sort of thing we have thought of. It's not just learning by conditioned reflex. Okay, so accordingly we are trying to design the entire program. So your interaction must be a two-way process. That's why you find that in the schedule, we have in the afternoon sessions, we have earmarked exclusively on tutorials. Okay. Now I request Professor Goswami to say a few words on this.
Professor M.K. Tiwari, Head Department of Industrial Engineering Department, Professor P.K. Ray, Course Coordinator, Professor B. Mohanty, Dean, Planning and Coordination, and also one of the coordinator, Professor Gopinath Chattopadhyay from Australia, my esteemed colleagues who are present here, participants from industry, different academic institutes, and my dear own students, our students. Actually, this ISWT course is the initiative of our director, Professor P.P. Chakraborty. We are running in total in this summer during May to July 19 courses like this, and during December we will run around 9 to 10 courses. So you can understand in what magnitude we are running the courses. The main aim of these courses basically of two folds. One is to bring some international faculty and give the recent developments, discuss the recent developments, what is happening around the world, make new friends, so that afterwards by communicating learn some new things, and then interact with the international faculty, with our faculty, and develop your research program or apply it in the industry or in the academics. This is the first thing, and for our students the basic thing is the motivation, how it works so that they will be motivated and they will try to do something like that. The one M is this one. Second M is to make some relationship with the universities or institutes from where the international faculties are coming to this program, so that afterwards, if possible, if we are running a course here, international faculty may not be available or may not come here during that time because of the busy schedule, but he can deliver lectures from there which we can telecast here itself. Even if this can happen other way round also, that is, our faculties are delivering lectures and this is being seen by the students or the participants from the other institutes. That means we will try to make certain type of MOUs afterwards and make the collaborations so that in both research and in academics we all can gain and share our knowledge. This is a basic initiative, and I feel that in India itself I can say that this is the first time that this kind of concept has been introduced, because if you see whatever we are learning here, it is not like a short-term course. We are running it, we are telling that it is a 2-credit course. We will do, there will be minimum 28 to 32 lectures for this, and afterwards we are assuming that certain other academic institutes, if they agree, they can also take it as a credit course. Just like for our students who are attending the course, who are sitting for the exams, they will be given the grade just like we evaluate our students. And the grade will be reflected in their grade sheet as a audit course. Similarly, for outside students or outside participants also, we can do it if their institute and our institute agrees. So these are the basic things for which we are running this type of courses. But I would like to thank Professor Chattopadhyay for agreeing to come here during this summer. It's still hot, but we are really thankful to you. So thank you very much. I hope you will enjoy the course. If any problem is there, you can contact Professor Ray or myself for anything. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Goswami. Now, at this point in time, we conclude this session, and then we have 15 minutes tea break, and then the first session will start around 10:15. Okay, so thank you so much, and
10:30, no?
appreciate hearing.
10 minutes break.
Okay, 10 minutes.
And already we are little late.
Yeah, little late, so I know the 10 minutes break. So we'll break for 10 minutes, and then again, just at 20 past 10, we'll assemble over. Thank you so much. How are you? For any learning exercise. So what we have planned, that attendance will be recorded in both the sessions. And I have a very positive mindset. I believe that you are really intrinsically motivated. Intrinsically motivated. Motivation has come from within. And that's why you have taken this course, or you are registered for this course. Still there. So I'm waiting for them. Where are they? And these days, when we have been teaching these courses throughout the world, such courses, many places of the world, the noticeable feature which that distinguishes us from them, us within quote from them, is maybe there are always the class starts, there are many participants, they have to take calls, and it has become a common scene. The class is on, and with this mobile phone, they are speaking to many other fellows. This has become a very noticeable thing, right? So, please do not do this, and please, there may not be, the heaven will not fall on your head if everybody knows that if you do not receive call on your mobile. Okay. So, what is expected that 100% concern? I'm still waiting for them. It's okay, please call them. So I think everyone has come back to the classroom. I'm extremely sorry that we couldn't start at 9:30. For certain factors beyond our control. But that cannot be the logic. Unavoidable, unsolvable problem. Now, so where are they? In first class. Yeah, it is. Where is he? Yeah, please. Please. Otherwise I will start. Yeah, please. Okay. Now, so again, welcome to the first session of this particular course. And I firmly believe that the kinds of interactions we will have for the next, 10 days or so, ultimately it will benefit you. But then again, many a time you say that the learning is a two-way process. So my request is that that whenever you feel like responding to any points and all those, please interact. It's your learning process and so also mine. Because the teaching is a relearning process. Till the last day of my life, I will learn. So that sort of mindset any teacher must have. And so I learn from you, and so also you may learn from us. Okay. Now, the course is on asset management, and the first few slides I'll show you, like what are the specific reasons, scientific reasons and scientific reasons. What are the scientific reasons for which we are tempted to offer this course? In your information brochure, it has been very clearly mentioned. So I want to repeat that. But before I do this, I would like to know from you, what is an asset? Suppose you are working in any organization. Organization, informal, formal, whatever. In your work life, normally you work in a formal organization within. And in your the home life, you also work in an informal organization. We say, okay. Now, if I ask you, then what is an asset in your organization? What will be the reply? Suppose, and we are really talking about engineering system. Do you know what is an engineering system? So, what is expected? We are becoming engineers, and we are expected to deal with engineering system. Right? That is the first choice. There could be 100 reasons that why you may not opt for the first choice. So suppose this is an engineering system we have. Can you think of any engineering system without having any, some sort of assets? You can't. Now the question is that suppose you visit a factory, a plant, and you will be visiting, and many of you already, we are part and parcel of that engineering system. Suppose they ask you what is an asset, what is your answer? Sometimes they say that human resources are an asset and all this. These are very popular terms. Ultimately, the human resource is the asset. Fine. But you have to be very, very particular. It can be, very, vaguely interpreted. Human resource. Everybody knows. The mother is an asset. The child is an asset. Very general. But when we become engineer, the engineer deals with very concrete things. Absolutely concrete things. Like the doctors, they deal with the concrete things. Absolute. No vagueness. If, suppose I start interacting as a doctor and the way I interpret, my patient doesn't understand, I must be a bad doctor. Has to be. Similarly for the engineer. I ask you, can you define what is CNC? So you have to, CNC machine or the DNC. So very, very particular. That's sort of, the strength we have, concreteness. So similarly, suppose asset within quote. I want your answer. What is an asset? What is an asset?
An asset is a equipment or which takes an asset.
I'll say
What is an asset?
anything with which you can associate on tangible or intangible values is an asset.
Anything? Again, I am telling you that you must be very, very, whatever you say, there must be some concreteness. Absolute. I must act as an engineer. You just, you say that I don't have any other identity. I must act as an engineer. That's my domain. That's it. That's why I'm recognized. That's it. Just, like, lexicography or say, your dictionary. Have you ever seen the definition of the asset given in, Western dictionary, 7 language animated dictionary. So my request is, any terms you come across, get this dictionary lexicography, get the meaning. There could be 100 interpretations, but let it be known first. Instead of, I go through certain concepts and I try to interpret it. You must not do that. So asset, what is an asset? Any other answers? Any other?
So anything which add value to the system.
Value to the system. Anyone? But there could be many other aspects. Okay, which may not be, having the same characteristics, but it may not be asset. So, what is that, the common minimum which you must search for? And if you utter this word, immediately you say that this is asset. If I say human resources asset, will you accept it? I am working in a plant, and you say, okay, human resources is an asset, will you accept that? Suppose I bring in some human resource, will you accept it? Put into, the job. Put into the job without any selection, nothing. I bring someone from the streets and I say, sir, he is an asset. Why don't you take him? Will you take him? No. So he or she must go through certain process. And in the process, what do you test out of him?
They must be profitable and quality.
With respect to a given system, forget about the quality and terms. The technical know-how. So any organization, there is a history of all organizations in the European countries. If you have the technical know-how, that is your asset. Only one word, technical know-how. If you do not have the technical know-how, suppose I bring in one CNC, but the design I don't know. Can you, identify any product in India which is absolutely Indian engineering product? Can you name a single engineering product which is Indian engineering product? If it's an agricultural product, yes, there are many Indians, absolutely Indian. Like basmati rice, we have designed it. You go to any place in India, you will find within say 50 kilometers radius, there is a beautiful textile that people have designed for many 100 years, any part of India. So this is true, but those are not engineering products per se. I am talking about engineering product. Can you name a single engineering product which is Indian? Is it Indian product? No. Is it Indian product? No. But we are producing it.
So
We have a technical know-how.
can we say Param supercomputer which India has come up can be?
No. See, you must look into the system. But when you create a product, where from you are getting the materials? Who is supplying it? Do you have the the blueprint with you? Suppose the glass. Do you have the blueprint with you? The computer blueprint do you have? Printed circuit board. You ever find also a motor, the wiring design. You have this one. There are historical reasons. Maybe Macaulay's education system has spoiled us. Macaulay, 1835, is spoiled. This is absolutely the truth. So, as far as engineering product is concerned, engineering system is concerned, asset we are talking about, engineering system. But the kind of engineering systems we have, what you see it, is absolutely borrowed. Just 200-year-old factory system. So what do you find? You visit any factory, you find the countries like Luxembourg, Belgium, small countries, all the machines, they're all imported. German, small countries, they're all very, very small countries. Okay. How many machines you find in your, say, one plant, which is absolutely Indian? We used to find HMT, but that is also gone. What is the basic reason that why these companies are becoming sick. Because somehow or other, if you do not have the technical know-how, you are bound to, the system is bound to fail. So when we talk about the asset management, essentially related to the asset, do you have the technical know-how? And whether, when you talk about management, there should be a systems approach. To what extent this technical know-how is properly documented, right? That means, sometimes we say, I remember one incident, there is a person in my factory. Now, whenever, the machine is down, he is to be called. He is having the technical knowledge, and when he leaves the company becomes orphan. And usually you find that we don't want to lose the maintenance the managers. He is working for the last 20 years, 30 years. He leaves the organization. He leaves the organization along with his knowledge. So the company becomes smaller. So in that context they say, okay, he is an asset, he must not leave the company. Why? Indirectly you are saying that if he leaves, the technical know-how also will go. This was the case for many, many years. That means the system was absolutely individual dependent. Today, what we try to do, we try to make it, whatever the knowledge you have, put it in your system. That means even if he leaves from this earth, this system remains. So systems approach is very, very important. So when you discuss this particular, the asset management, we always focus on the systems approach. You contribute to the system, system remains, right? Anyway, so these are all the statements. What we are saying that the asset management is very important from three perspectives. First one is, the business performance is closely related with asset performance. This you all agree. In fact, if your machine is down, or say the machine performance is becomes probabilistic, so your production also becomes, entire production system becomes probabilistic. This you cannot afford. So ultimately you will be loser. And how many of you have studied profit and loss statement and the balance sheet? All of you? In the balance sheet, there are terms called assets. And there are two types of assets. Current asset and a fixed asset. I'm not talking about the liabilities parts or the capital part and all this. So this is one. So there you will find the inventory is there. Along with inventory, there are three more terms coming under current assets. You are all aware of, right? So these are called asset. Inventory is an asset. Plant and equipment is an asset. So like Professor Chakraborty was mentioned, that primarily we will be looking into the physical asset part. Okay, because in the physical asset part, what you find that most of the time you may lose control, because the design of these physical assets may not be known. And if the design is not known, then many aspects of the performance of the asset is also not known. We have a contract, annual maintenance contract, with the original equipment manufacturer. And you never know that the money you spent on this is really worth spending on it. But you have no other alternatives. So unless you know the details of the design of your the manufacturing systems or the facilities or the machineries, equipment, it is very difficult to produce a system for asset management. Okay, so these are the primary conditions. So first thing is that is closely related to business performance. Second important issue is, the risk. Any asset you run, you install, there is risk component. That also Professor Chakraborty nicely pointed out in the introductory lecture. So the risk is to be minimized. You can't, even if it is a highly sophisticated system, you can't say that it will never fail. Like, can you cite a case? Again, airlines. What do I know? So far there is no, accident. Can you, there are hundreds of airlines companies, isn't it? Some are very good, some are very bad. Okay, can you cite the name or say, do you know that which particular airlines doesn't have any, so far? There is no passenger, the death, the accident. Most likely British Airways. Right? And then again, there are certain risk factors. You can't say that so far there is no, till now, there is no accident, tomorrow there will not be an accident. However sophisticated it is, there is a chance. Now this is to be minimized. Like you said, the asset like a chemical plant. There is standard. What is the standard? That means if it runs continuously for 100 years, one death is allowed. That is the standard. Or say nuclear power plant. One death in 100 years of life. Or the commercial airlines. Very much fun. That is the standard. But it cannot be zero. So the risk is to be minimized. And what sort of systems you have within yourself, with which, the systems approach, with which you say, okay sir, I am continuously monitoring the system. So the monitoring and control has to be there. So now, you can't change it. No. This is just a pointer. So asset management for any engineering system needs to focus on maintenance, renewal and enhancement activities with an integrating mechanism on delivering sustainable outputs. So sustainability concept also coming into picture. Valued by customers and funding providers. At the lowest whole life cost, emphasizing on creating knowledge of how assets degrade and fail to optimize maintenance and renewal interventions. Okay, so there are in this, the broad definition, or there are many concepts are inbuilt. So we'll take up some of these concepts. Okay. Next one is, what are the objectives of this particular course? Objectives are manifold. Exposing participants to the fundamentals of asset management practices that we are discussing from different perspectives. Building in confidence and capability, and that's whole learning, ultimately reflected in capability amongst the participants in the application of asset management tools techniques. So we will be discussing many important tools and techniques related to asset management. And there will be cases, there will be tutorials, and mapping the organizational activities and problems in terms of asset management framework. The next 2 weeks of time, your world will be the asset management. Let it be known. I will forget all other issues. Okay, 100% concentration asset management. I will look at my organization from the asset management perspectives only. Suppose I ask you to draw your, the flow process diagram of your, the manufacturing plant. So you need to explain this flow process with respect to asset management related variables and the parameters. Like ISO 9000, the quality management systems. So when you talk about quality management systems, the entire organization is represented with the terms and terminologies related to quality management. So similarly, you need to represent your organizational activities in terms of asset management related parameters and variables. Providing exposure to the practical problems. So these always we try to do. So many, the kinds of examples we draw from the industries, the practical elements. Enhancing the capability of the participants to identify, control and remove asset management related problems in engineering system. That is obvious. So what are the main issues we'll be dealing with? We'll be discussing the present industrial situations like some of the examples we are providing, because you must not forget that Indian system cannot be explained fully with the scientific, with the logic, unless we refer to its origin, and that's the backwardness education system. Right. It has to be in all forums throughout the world. And then we'll have answers. That why we do not have the design knowledge? Why we don't have this one? Every alternate day, we look at the West. Suppose we are in the eastern part of the world, supposing. We face a problem, we look westward. Suppose I am in the western part, I face a problem. Can I look to the east? No. So they face problems, they have to solve their problems on their own. They can't afford, they can't look to the east. I'm getting my point. So this is a dependency mindset. This is also killing us. And they will not allow us to make, independent whole thinking process. So you have to study, but fortunately what they have means many good texts, many case studies. So we get a lot of opportunities to learn. And that is the only way. There is no shortcut. Okay, so this is because when you talk about asset, the details about the assets must be known. Without knowing the design of the assets, what is details you are talking about? You getting me? Asset management methodologies in engineering systems. Some of these tools and techniques as well as the methodologies will be teaching you. Planning and implementation framework. When you go back to your factory, learn something. Now you must be able to develop this framework, integration session. So that also we try to provide. And case study discussions and tutorials. Okay, so this is one. So the course details, this is the brief now, the course details, like, these are the two issues, like it is already given in the website related to this particular course. 3 contract hours per day for a period of 2 weeks. That means basically the 10 working days, and the methods consist of lecture sessions, hands-on exercises, discussions on cases, and live problems. This is our structure. For any short-term course, we do this. And this is a broad, it's the outline of the syllabus, you can say. Like pertinent issues of asset management, we will be discussing in Indian industries. Life cycle cost analysis for asset management is a very important topic, in fact. ISO 55000 standards, failure mode and effect analysis, application of lean engineering principles for asset management. It's a country like ours, a country like Japan, they can't afford to have wastes in their systems. But we are not better off than Japan as far as asset is concerned. Japan is 100% import-based country. We are not. So, but still, ours is a resource-scarce country. You can't deny that. So obviously the lean engineering principles have to be applied. Okay, so we will focus on these aspects. Asset design and maintenance issues, of course, we will do that. And examination for the participants, right? It's for self-assessment. Now, what is the definition of asset management? Systematic and coordinated activities and practices through which an organization optimally manages its assets and their associated performance, risks and expenditures over their life cycle. What is the asset life cycle? Suppose I am given the plant. You are working in a plant. Now you want to represent the entire cycle. Sometimes it is about the process life cycle. Okay, the process is an asset, say, value adding. How do you represent it? What sort of picture you have in your mind? Can you tell us? What do you find if you go to a plant? What do you find? Operational activities. All machines are running, noise of the machines, as well as the maintenance. Operations and maintenance, operations slash maintenance, they go together, always. So what do you look at? That is basically the operations and maintenance slash. But then again, what will happen tomorrow? Or what happened yesterday in the same plant? How did it start? How did it start? That means the first phase is the design phase, design of the plant. Let's suppose a galvanizing plant you want to install. Okay, so he has to design it. Entire blueprint. So the first thing is the design. Next, what do? You have to commission the plant, commissioning. Close the power plant, the commission. Or say, the blast furnace. Right? So there is a commission. So commissioning. You know what is commissioning? And during the commissioning, there is lots of, the trials, tests, carried out. With respect to, a machine, we say installation. But with respect to the entire plant, we say commissioning. Then you start working. What you see today, that is operation slash maintenance. Then, a plant is born, the plant also dies. Either today or tomorrow. Right? So after 10 years of working or 50 years of working, the plant is going to die. What do you do then? Decommissioning. So that is also a process. After decommissioning, the last stage is disposal. Right? So this is very, very important. So this total concept you must have. At what stage you are. Sometimes you start working in an old plant. And what you find that the machine utilization is very poor. Every now and then it is failing. Is it okay? The time to failure, the distribution is one kind. You really, it's a old plant. What do you do? So possibly it is heading towards the decommissioning stage. Is it okay? Is a revival is possible? So technically you have to justify first. Whether it is technically revival is possible or not. So it's a technical problem. That means as soon as you focus on the asset management related problems, primarily you are focusing on technical problems. Is it okay? If you do not have foothold on the technical problems, your approach cannot be the focused one. Is it okay? So it's a total view. So life cycle. So from which perspective, what is your unit of analysis, that is very important. Whether you will make a plan for the entire plant or for an important machine, the bottleneck machine, choice is yours. But usually what happens, that out of many machines you deal with, so 50 machines, definitely you know that which one is the most critical machines. Is it okay? If that machine fails, the entire system is down. Whereas the other machine, even if it fails, there are alternatives. It's not that important in this chain that you all know. So let us first, we'll identify those critical machines and their asset management details will be worked out. Is it okay? We'll, in the afternoon sessions, so those are talking about that, we'll be talking about asset register. Is it okay? As everything should be exposed, open approach. Getting my point? How many of you are aware of, we used to have this term called, equipment history card, history register. So this used to have. Okay. So this is I'll be finishing in 5-10 minutes of time. Okay. So these are the issues we'll be dealing with. So asset management deals with determining and controlling optimized cost from several perspectives. In fact, sometimes we get confused. Asset management, there's still a lot of confusions, right? So at the end of this particular course, what do we expect? That you will carry in your mind some sort of framework. And you must be convinced that this is the framework and this is called asset management. Because in the name of asset management, there are hundreds of issues they are dealing with. So for a newcomer, for a beginner, you get confused. Where is my point? So the framework has to be explained first. So here, what I would like to propose, these are the critical ideas in asset management. Short-term and long-term planning of assets and their capability. This is the point number one. Point number two is, it talks about inventory management and control. That's true. The inventory is an asset. Operations, during operation, processing, servicing. Okay? Then reliability assessment, maintenance and servicing, hazard and risk analysis, reuse, recycling, disposal, sustainability, benchmarking, strategic asset management. So these are the few critical areas. And other areas like the company mission, its share values, these are all indirectly related. Information and knowledge management requiring direct access to all relevant data at the correct level of integration in the correct format. The level of integration means at the strategic level, at the technical level, at the operations level. Okay. And the risk awareness requiring performing risk analysis and evaluating results considered a standard practice as part of the decision making process. Okay. So this I can skip. And as far as comprehensive framework is concerned, this again I will be discussing later on. We are trying to give you a framework, right? Now, as far as asset management is concerned, these are the three main aspects. You can note it down. First is asset installation and operations. You must be bothering about this one. Is it okay? Second one is asset performance measurement and evaluation. This is the second stage. Third stage, asset management related systems development and compliance. That means, okay, you are running a system, you are all aware of. Now, what sort of, the standard systems you are trying to develop? And as you know, like the quality audit systems you have, cost audit, quality audit. Similarly, there must be asset audit. You're getting my point. So the auditing systems when we talk about, that means, adequacy audit as well as the compliance audit has to be there. So ultimately, it should be a part of the systems and how capable you are in developing the systems. And three kinds of elements again is this, each aspect. What is this one? Management, support and responsibilities. It's very, very important for asset installation operations. The second one is the problems and action steps. This is another dimension. And the third one is the authority and leadership. This must, this playing a big role. So what are these three aspects, and against each of these aspects there are three elements you need to consider. So what do you find? You find a matrix, and related to each one, like management, support and responsibilities. What do you mean? What are the activities you are supposed to carry out? As I have been telling you, that you are dealing with concrete things. So against this, you must be able to specify. Yes, sir. Under management, support and responsibility, these are the specific activities we need to carry out. Is it okay? So I have listed all these details, and similarly, problems and action steps. So what are the activities we should carry out? Specific. This is your starting point. You are trying to develop a system. So this is the framework. Then last one is authority and responsibility. What does it mean? So instead of giving your own definition, let it be known that from the organizational perspective, what does it mean? So there are lots of issues, and I am sure that if you go through all these aspects, you can interpret it very nicely. The understanding will not be a problem. You getting my point? Go through, so that when you go out of these systems, the learning process, you have a concrete knowledge. This means always expansion is possible. You getting my point? But let there be a foundation, let be a structure in your mind, and constantly, we will will propose this one. Getting my point? That means it must be there's something like, overlearning. Getting my point? So activities we have identified. So this is the basic framework. Okay, so these are the three aspects and these are the management elements. These are all management elements. So ultimately it is 3 by 3 matrix. And if you have all these cells, is it okay? This one, this, let me calculate. Is it okay? So this basic framework you keep in mind. Any questions you have? But before you raise questions, so let us remember, what actually they say. They are the finest minds ever born. There are many such geniuses. So they are referred to as the finest minds ever born in the history of mankind. Is it okay? So the Henry Ford, definitely he is relevant in industrial context. And Charles Darwin, everybody knows. So what is their comment? If money is your hope for independence, you will never have it. Okay. The only real security that a man can have in this world is a reserve of knowledge, experience and ability. Knowledge is not enough. Like potential is not enough. Capability is basically the necessary condition, the sufficient condition. Necessary condition is potential, that is knowledge, but the sufficient condition is ability. It is not the strongest of the species that survives, not the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is most adaptable to change. Is it okay? So, what do you say? How do you interpret these two the course? That means, what do you try to do? Even if you have the knowledge, there are hundreds and thousands of, maintenance managers. They are working very honestly. But it is the responsibility of the company to get their knowledge and put them into the systems. How many companies are doing this? Very few. If someone does it, that means he or she believes in the concept of asset management. So, like we say, in sometimes, like he refers to human resources also. Right now we are talking about the physical assets. But you all know that there are assets, like even if the extreme conditions you have in the process plant, very bad process plant, still you will find that the 5 to 10% of the people, they are working. They are the assets. You are getting my point? So, can you identify them? Basically, they have the technical knowledge, technical know-how at the resource level. Similarly, even if your plant is fantastic, state of the art, still you will find 5 to 10%. They are the problem makers. Clear? So for them, we are not discussing. For the other part, that means the first 5 to 10% of the people, so whether they are recognized or not, to what extent their knowledge becomes a part of the system. So it is hoped that if you represent your organization in this framework, right, so there is a high probability that asset management will be practiced, or there are many practices related to asset management will be part and parcel of the system. Okay, so here I close. So it's now 11 o'clock. You can take the stage. Okay.
All right.
Okay, so I request to stop the recording, so I don't want